believe he got locked on that heal.
Rubcub dangerously lost
Rubcub at the same time. Both healers at 5% HP. Who's going to go down first? Cdew gets locked out. Rubcubs is able to freely cast, and that misplay is going to cost Method the game. They were so far ahead, but
we're doing so well.
Advance 4-0. It doesn't look like they're giving up. They do have a lot of pressure on Rubcub. Wealthy Man's trying to peel Smexen for now. Doesn't look like he has any way to get out of that polymorph. Can Beanadin solo Rubcub? Beanadin needs to stay on his target. He freedoms to try and catch up. Rubcub's behind the pillar trying to cast some heals. I don't think Beanadin's going to be able to keep up. He pops the equality. Holy wrath, big damage. They do get the cross kill onto Rubcub. They got Jax locked out in a stun. Are they going to be able to turn this around? 20% HP remaining. They need to chop him. Charge up from Smexen on the Dragon's Breath. Wealthy Man trying to control him. He's going to Nova him. Does he have the Blade Storm to get out? Doesn't look like he has the Blade Storm. Beanadin's trying to heal himself back up. He's still at 30%. Jax is at 30%. Can Beanadin solo Jax in time? Casting the flash shields, gets locked on his flash shield, and I think this is going to be it for Beanadin. Jax looking to finish him off. 10% HP, 5% HP, nothing remaining. Now it's Smexen in a 1v2. What can he do? Jax is on the run. He fears up Wealthy Man. He needs to charge Jax and finish him in basically 2 globals, or it's going to be the end of the game. He's just going to get stunned up, but he's not able to connect for now. Dragon's Breath out from Wealthy Man. Jax keeping the distance, not allowing him. Charge stun connects. Can Smexen kill him? He needs to. He shadow steps back to Wealthy Man, followed up with a heroic leap. Can he take him down? 20% HP remaining. Kidney shot comes out, and Jax will take Smexen down. What an intense game. And man, if that misplay didn't happen, that was easily Method's game.
So before the boot camp at my house, I think our team was definitely lacking a lot in terms of practice. And I think the reason we decided to do the boot camp was, no one had an agenda anymore. When everyone was at my house, we just made sure we were all on at the same time. Obviously, we're all on the same sleeping schedule. One of the problems that we actually had going into regionals and a little bit at BlizzCon was Snutz was actually raiding a lot. He was really enjoying Legion. And, it's kind of a shame because it was a lot of fun, and I actually would have enjoyed doing it with him. But we really wanted to focus hours and hours and hours on PvPing, and with the time that he was spending on raiding, it kind of felt like sometimes we couldn't get the practice that we wanted. So, with him coming to my house and everything, we were making sure we were on the same schedule. We put a ton of time in. And I think the biggest eye-opener for us was the Method tournament. We went into the Method tournament thinking we were going to destroy everyone. And I think we ended up doing pretty poorly there, and we kind of had to, we had to start from scratch and say, look, we need new comps, we need new classes. We basically got to start from scratch. And for me, it was really difficult because this is the first time ever in a LAN tournament that I went in knowing I wasn't going to be playing my main, which is Resto Shaman. So for me to go into a tournament having to play Mistweaver, I was really worried because all the things that and that you've learned over the years, it just kind of all like, shaman. It just kind of all starts over,
Do not on a shaman. I don't know honestly, because it was like a whole new expansion, so it was kind of just like, I felt like everything was like restarted, so we were all starting on the same playing field in a sense, and I don't know. I guess with his paladin, it was really awkward for a bit because he didn't know how to hodge and stuff, and finally he got melee wings after like a few months of playing, so finally he became like a decent paladin where he would like hodge every like at least 40 seconds and stuff, and it was kind of stressful at first, but I mean, once you get your honor talents and play a lot and play seriously, it kind of all like starts flowing together, I guess. All the practice, it just does pay off, like in general in anything you do, so it was practicing every freaking day. It was definitely worth it and definitely paid off. I don't know, just really built the synergy and helped us win, I guess, in general. I remember one practice session we had was like, it was just an awkward day for me or something, that like I had Snutz yelling at me all the time, like go healer and shit, and like I would be playing with Smex, and I would feel like, with Snutz I have to be the beta, I have to let him talk, but like with Smex I have to be the alpha, so it was like, it's a weird yin and yang or something. Like I wasn't in the mindset one day, and it was a really, really bad practice day, and then we had dessert. That's the ritual. We talked it out and stuff, and the next day we came back, and ever since like that day, the practice started going like really, really well at regionals. But there was definitely a day or two at regionals where we didn't do too well. The most stressful one was like the third and second place, or third and fourth match. Oh my god, that stuff went to like,
Connor, you're out.
Yeah, that was so stressful. Like we knew if we lost versus like Tempo Storm, I think we had to fight the Australian team again, which was like super close, and I remember like almost passing out. Holy crap.
Yeah, the Australian team, I think, was the team I was actually nervous against. I remember being in the last game, like freaking out, talking to myself like, you get it together. Like I'm shaking my leg, like I feel like I'm freaking out a little bit, and I actually played that series really bad. But if I had to play it again, if we had to play him again, I think we would have played it a lot better. But yeah.
with the finals, yeah, for me too, were like they were really fun. Like they were, it wasn't like fun, but it wasn't like as nerve wracking as you'd think it'd be because we already qualified and it was just for more money. But it was nerve wracking because we were fighting Rogue Mage. So, but after the second game, when Snutz and Smexen lost, and I had to like go in or whatever for versus Rogue Mage, and we won the first game, and then they Rogue Mage again. That was like the most like relieving, like happy feeling ever that they're just gonna Rogue Mage the whole time pretty much, and we countered that, so it felt really nice. It was a really good feeling.
So winning regionals and then going to BlizzCon, I felt like we were pretty confident. The only tricky part was it was still fresh. It was still at the beginning of Legion, so we knew that anything could have happened. Like after regionals, after we won regionals, our best comp, which was Enhanced, Ret, Mistweaver, all three classes got nerfed. I wouldn't say it was weak, but it wasn't the best comp at the time for our team, and we had to figure out the comps that worked for us. As you can tell, like the comps that we played at BlizzCon were completely different from the comps we played at regionals. We weren't really we didn't know exactly what we were doing until we actually got to BlizzCon and we found out the comp that we were going to play, which was Enhanced LSP. We had that, we practiced it, but we didn't know what was our main comp, and we didn't know what the other players and what the other teams were going to play. I mean, a lot of teams understood the meta at that time very, very well. It was a matter of picking up the right comps and picking up the right classes that you needed to play in order to perform well. And we managed to find Enhanced, Lock, Demo Lock, Holy Paladin, which pretty much at that time the meta was kind of like Assassination Rogues and Enhancement Shamans. So you had to find a pick for both, really. For Assassination Rogues, if you didn't have a Paladin on your team, you were pretty much screwed. You needed to play Pure of Heart, otherwise Assassination Rogues just did too much damage, unhealable damage actually at the time, until recently when they got nerfed. But so you had to find a mix between getting a Paladin on your roster or on your team comp and fitting in Enhancement Shaman. As you see, most games at BlizzCon was either Enhanced or it was either a Rogue, Assassination Rogue team. And we found the comp Enhanced LSP, which was, we had the bases covered for Assassination Rogue, where if you played Assassination, we wouldn't really just straight up counter you, but we had a really good chance against you because of the Pure Heart, because of the Paladin. And then we also had the Enhanced Shaman, which just provided a lot of burst, a lot of utility, mainly the burst. The burst was ridiculous at the time of BlizzCon. Pairing that up with the Demo Warlock playing the Implosion spec, you just had the insane amount of burst. So when we figured out this comp, we were pretty confident. Like, I don't think anyone really expected us to do so well until we actually played and we started practicing against all the other teams. But the one team, obviously, that did throw us off was Splice. I feel like they had a better understanding of the meta. They played a lot more than all of us, than anyone there, really. And they knew all the matchups really well. I wouldn't say in my eyes they were like insanely good players at the time, but they just knew everything about that BlizzCon and about that current meta. This comp speaks this comp speaks this, and I mean, as a team, they just played really well. So the first game that we played against them was the first series rather was the first day of BlizzCon, a week before the main event, where they threw the Beast Cleave at us, and that was something we just didn't expect. Like we as a team, we kind of like understood all the comps and all the team is playing and what comps, but when they threw that at us, it was like, whoa, we just didn't expect that because no one played it. No one ever played it. We didn't expect anyone to play it, but we should have known that they played it because I knew before they played it, and then we just stopped practicing against it. So they threw us a curveball, and we just didn't know what to do at the time. They ended up taking that win. So I'd say that alone was something that we were not prepared for, was the Beast Cleave, until later on at the main event at BlizzCon.
So the final at BlizzCon was probably one of the most intense series I've ever played in. What was really fun about the series was it was back and forth. It didn't feel one-sided. They had the lead, we took the lead, they had the lead, and ultimately we weren't able to take it back. But it was so close. I think in terms of the comps played, it was probably really exciting for the viewers. Had to be swapped back and forth. It wasn't just kind of a straight run through with this beat that. And obviously in Game 7, I just remember having the thought. I still remember it when we were on the other side of the tomb. And Snutz said he was going to fear DPS, and I saw both DPS feared, and then I freed him Snutz to make sure he was able to get there, and then Bean was screaming, I've Incarn, and I saw that I had a Cavalier, which is my mount up in combat, and I had wings, and I'm just like, the thought that crossed my mind was, both DPS feared, Paladin's in a full stun, we have max damage, we won. And then running over to the Paladin, and Bean saying, he's stun full, and I'm like, I have the half stun, and then him saying he has the triple DR stun, and then screaming for silence, and then him not having it, and then the Paladin getting the Arm Mastery off, then
Infernal.
and the triple Infernal
haunts me
stun, and then the
forever.
Gateway, and then dispelling the fear, and I couldn't dispel the Hodge. I remember it. I'll never forget it, basically, and just being so close. And then the thing that you didn't realize, or that we didn't realize, is after we missed that kill, we forced bubble, and we're like, we could still win. And then all of a sudden, just being turned around immediately and just taking, obscene amount of damage and dying shortly after that, and not getting the next go.
I remember spam healing you. Like, spam healing you was going to like 2%, back to 10%. 2%, but it was so close.
I think Snutz actually got triple DR stunned with us, and if he just stood on to him. There's so many things we could have done differently.
The crazy part is like, I didn't even practice Feral for like a week at that point. Like, I literally didn't even log on Feral. Like, we had no
intentions.
No thought, no intentions to just play Feral Priest. Like, we didn't practice it once, literally, not once. And it was just something we had to pull out of our ass because we had nothing. Like, we didn't know what to play because we knew we were going to get countered, so we had to play something that they didn't know how to counter, pretty much.
Right.
So it was completely random, and just, God, it was stressful.
It was very stressful, yeah. But like I said, it was a fun series.
It's really fucking close.
Even though we lost BlizzCon, like, the amount of support we had in the crowd was absolutely amazing. It was a full house. There were signs everywhere, Cdew, take my energy, the method signs, the bean signs, release the bean. It was amazing. Just like being a part of that, even though we lost, was just such like an emotional experience to see how many people actually are rooting for you and how many people want you to succeed. It was such a crazy sight, and to be a part of it, it was just a really, really humbling experience, and it was a great time, and I really appreciate everyone who came out and supported us.
Yeah, all the support was freaking awesome. Like, it was literally unbelievable. Like, I've never dreamed in my life of like playing in a. I'm really like stage shy and shit. So, like, when you have to read out reports in high school or something, I would literally skip school. You know what I mean? Like, I hate like people looking at me and like stuff like that. But one random thing I just thought of is like, I remember the night before the finals. I remember, and this is so weird because I remember Sam messaged me. I'm pretty sure. He's like, "You got this" or something, and that jinxed me. I can feel it. Anyway, that was.
I'm off the team. Get him out of here.
Yeah, I remember that, dude. I got a message the night before. It was like, "You got this" or something, like, "Win this shit" or something shit from Sam. And
sorry, bro.
Now we know how to take out the enemy teams. We just message them.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Just message them and be like, "There's no way you can lose," and then they're done for. After BlizzCon, I think we all kind of decided to take a little bit of a break with the amount of time that we put into WoW. This is pretty standard for almost any major tournament I've ever played in. The weeks leading into BlizzCon and the months leading into BlizzCon, you put so much time into just practicing and taking the game really seriously that afterwards it's like you kind of just want a break. It's like technically the off season, and it's never really been a problem, generally speaking, because you have such a long amount of time before the next tournaments start popping up. But unfortunately for our team this year, they decided to kind of like release tournaments a lot sooner than we expected. So we weren't really in, I guess, great shape in terms of team-wise to compete in these tournaments. We just had no practice. We didn't really understand the meta that well. We probably weren't playing, our mains the best we could in just terms of individual gameplay and stuff. So obviously, the first tournament that we played in, coming out of this, like, I guess, off-season or break thing, we just got absolutely annihilated, and that was the wake-up call for us.
I know we got fucked in the last tourney. Like, we got really like wrecked, but it was pretty obvious that we weren't playing really. I mean, Cdew and Snutz were PvEing all the time, and Specs was really the only. I was playing Conan Exiles all freaking day. Like, I love that game. It was sick, and so no one was really taking it seriously. It was a GCD, so we were just kind of chilling. At least I thought we were like, we knew we were gonna lose going into that pretty much. Like, we knew we weren't gonna do. We didn't think we'd get 8th, but we knew we weren't gonna like lose, or we weren't gonna win. So I mean, after Smexon leaving was like, it was pretty. When he left, it was just kind of like, I mean, I guess I could see it, but I mean, how well we did last year, it was just kind of awkward thinking that he thought we couldn't do that again or something, or, I just kind of thought that when we get into it, we really get into it, and obviously we're on break, and it was a wake-up call, obviously, and I just thought he was, I don't know, I guess I thought he was just, like, going to be down and realizing that we could do really well still. We just haven't practiced, so it was kind of surprising. It was kind of weird, I guess, for me.
So after Smexon left the team, We already kind of had that eye opener, like we just got annihilated in GCD. We already kind of knew what we needed to do, but after losing someone who was like really, really important to our team, we kind of knew that we had to go even above and beyond to make sure that we were practicing more, make sure that we had, we had the fire to be motivated enough to do well in these tournaments. It was something I don't think any of us were really expecting. It was kind of something that just caught us completely off guard. We didn't know that Smexon was unhappy, and if he told us, we would have been happy to do what it took to keep him on the team. It wasn't something that we would have just brushed off and said, you know what, we just want to do this for now. Like, if you don't like it, get walking. I think we all really like Smexon. Obviously, we were very successful with Smexon, so when he left, it was kind of like, okay, we need to start looking for new players. One of the first people that came to mind is Mez. It wasn't something I really talked about with the team, but it was late night when he told me this, and I was just kind of freaking out. Like, this is the first year where I thought we have it all together. We don't know what we need, or we don't need to find partners for this year. We know exactly who we got. We know exactly what we offer. But when Smexon left, it was like, who do we look for? And I played with Mez before. I know his practice ethics. Obviously, Mez did really well in this upcoming tournament, but after thinking about it a little bit, I was like, man, Mez is already on team. This isn't going to work out too much. I don't think he would leave. And then, I kind of thought about Samiyam, and I know that Snutz has a history with Samiyam. I know Bean has a history with Samiyam, and I just kind of felt like he was the perfect fit. And if it wasn't for Samiyam, I just don't know who we would have gotten. I think we got really lucky there.
So Cdew messaged me on Skype after Smexon announced that he was leaving their team to them. He asked me if I potentially wanted to join their team, and I was already on the team with Rub Cup and Roasties, and we recently placed second in the GCD, but I pretty much knew, like, when they brought me into a call and asked me to join their team, I knew that I wanted to do it because potentially we could be an amazing team if we actually played, and I knew these guys would want to play all day every day, and that's what we did, and that's what we're still doing. And I know that if we're playing and practicing all day for 6 months, by the time BlizzCon is around, we're going to be the best team. Like, we're going to be really good, and we're going to potentially win it all. It was really easy for me to join the team because I'd already played a lot with Beanslayerx and Snutz, so I was already familiar with all the players on the team, so it made it really easy for me to actually join and start playing with Cdew, and it was just really easy to make that transition.
Going into Cup number 1, I think we felt pretty confident. We were putting a ton of hours in, making sure that we knew exactly what we wanted to do and trying to make sure that we were all comfortable with the new comps that we were picking up and the new classes that we were picking up. We took a lot of time off streaming to make sure we were getting some of the off stream practice in for war games and just more solid practice all around. So I would say going into Cup number 1, we were really confident. I think it was a cup that we could have took if we were to redo it and maybe make some better decisions. We probably could have. But in the same sense, I think we also knew that it was going to be our biggest challenge in terms of the cups that they're going to be, because we've had the least amount of time together. The longer that we're going to be playing together and the more synergy that we're going to be building, and the more comps that are going to become available to us, the longer we play, I think the cups are just going to get easier and easier. So it was our hardest cup, and I think going into it and getting points that are going to help us qualify to regionals is a really, really big step in the right direction. Leading into the top 8, we had a really good record. I don't think we actually lost a single game in a series. I think we were 3-0 versus everyone. I think we just didn't have the greatest picks. I think we kind of beat ourselves. I think it's just something that we're going to learn as a team as we get more tournament experience with what comps that we need to play and the matchups that are good for us and bad for us. The series versus Rub Cub's team, we actually had no experience with Warrior Mage versus Feral Mage, so we kind of were just like, maybe we can win this if we do this, then we lose. And maybe we could win if we try this, or if we clean this up a little bit, then you lose. And next thing you know, you're one game away from elimination, and we haven't tried a new comp, so we haven't gained more information out of the matchup and stuff like that. So I think just going into future tournaments, we need to be more confident in our gameplay. Meaning, if we lost, unless we did something horribly wrong, there's probably not much we could do to fix it. Not to say that you can't work harder at it, but something that should be probably done like in offline games or war games, not really in a tournament setting. I really feel like picking the same comp after losing is something that is inevitably going to be your downfall. I've seen it happen time and time again in tournaments, and normally it never ever works out. So yeah, normally it's not the greatest picks, but I have to say I think I kind of underestimated a lot of the teams in the final 8. Not to say we were overconfident or over cocky, but I just didn't really expect the games to be as difficult as they were. So yeah, just we got to make sure that we stay focused and we stay prepared and we kind of understand the matchups more. But that will definitely happen over time.
So there were a couple of matches that I thought I probably could have done pretty well in, especially versus the Feral Mage. I felt like Demon Hunter DH, which we did play once, could have been good. I know it was a close game, but I think I could have played better. We could have hit Feral more, and I think in general it might have been good. But it sucked that we lost the first one because then you get counterpicked at the end anyway. So in the end, it kind of you have to beat counters you in a sense. So it was pretty hard after we lost the first game. But I definitely thought our Warrior Mage. I supported the decision of them running Warrior Mage the second time too in the first game versus FMP because I actually felt like Warrior Mage should or might be able to beat that matchup because we've played it a few times, and I guess I have Chuck Jones healing me, but I mean, it felt pretty hard from the Feral Mage perspective sometimes. And then in the last series, I really wanted to mirror them, but I also did have confidence in them for the Warrior Mage versus it too, because we wargamed Colosseum the night before, and we felt like we were doing pretty well, I feel like, and Warrior Mage is a really strong comp, and I still think it really is, so I felt like if we cleaned it up, we could have won. But yeah, I kind of wish I played a little Demon Hunter D8, a little mirror into them. And I felt pretty confident at the time on my Demon Hunter. I still feel really confident on it, and I don't know, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Wait, dude, you are retarded, by the way.
No one said we should.
No. Yeah, no, we didn't need to. We Demon Hunter DH'd.
Yeah, but FMP mirror would have been.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Demon Hunter Demo, we almost lost, man.
I actually thought I thought about the FMP mirror, but it's like if we played the FMP mirror,
way better. We would have lost.
Wait, on the FMP mirror?
Yeah.
I feel like I would have been if someone said FMP mirror right off the bat. I feel like we would have done it instantly. Like
I thought about it, but I just
when we were down 0-1.
I didn't know. I didn't know. Like, are we gonna kill the mage? Are we gonna kill the feral? Like, are you gonna play busted hands? Like, what if you're playing melee?
I think I would have played FM Druid.
No. Well, I mean, you never played that before, So it's like.
It feels like it would counter
do we
it, though,
take
right?
the risk? I mean, also the first game didn't feel like terrible as Warrior Mage Druid, right? So we were just like.
It felt pretty terrible from my point of view. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like we could win.
Close to killing, but Snutz is storm bolting and melee roots, so it's like.
Hello. Snutz is just yelling at me for getting sheeped.
Stormbolt missed. Do it again next time. What the fuck? But
after falling short in the first cup, I definitely kind of think our team picked up on some major flaws in our practice regimen. Going into future cups, I think we're definitely going to try and implement Bean in a lot more. We're going to try and figure out comps that are good for him because although we had comps that were really good for him, we practiced so much and we focused so much on beating Rogue Mage. It kind of ended up that all we did was practice Warrior Mage to kind of counter that, and it definitely left us really weak when we had to pick for counter comps or if Warrior Mage kind of fell through and we didn't really have an answer. So we're going to kind of try and spread our practice around a lot more. And I think for future cups, it's going to really help us because, we're going to have a lot more depth to our roster and we'll have a lot more counter picks.
Little JLSX.
Good add-in. It was Smexon's Snutz, excuse me. Bean didn't want to come over, he's too cool.
Yeah. Those smells and stuff. Well, I was invited to video chat for his dog's birthday, but that never happened. So it's kind of like a whoops. Kind of like some bullshit.
The Yaminator. Let me see your setup, bro. Look at that nice little bed you got going on.
Like, he actually
Why you got stickers on your wall, man? What are you, 6 years old?
I've had this room for a while, man. Come on.